strong home record, lots of goals scored. But these are the ones where Arsenal have struggled over the years. The champions kick off in a proper six-pointer. No question, the draw a better result for Chelsea than it is for Arsenal, albeit that a draw would allow Manchester United the chance to go top. They are playing Aston Villa in a game that has just kicked off here as well. Millie Bright with Stina Blackstenius closing her down. Helen, what do you make of the fact that both Russo and Blackstenius are starting? I know they did it at Leicester, but Sleggers doesn't often do it.
No, it's a very bold move, and obviously last weekend it worked. Blackstenius has got an exceptional record when you consider she's only started twice before now, but has 6 goal involvement. So she's a player that will cause that Chelsea backline problems. And I quite like the old school sort of 4-4-2 formation that she's gone with today, and they can complement each other really well. Russo can drop in and act more as that number 10, and Blackstenius, with that pace that she's got in behind, she'll be a problem for anyone that she's up against.
And up against Chelsea with, in theory, 1 fewer centre-back than they had. So we'll see how and where any outnumbering occurs. You knew Erin Cuthbert would be playing this game. There's not a big game that Chelsea play the way she doesn't. Natalie Bjorn stepping out confidently away from Ford. And here's Lucy Bronze, fit again and starting again. Cannerud. Macario, good first time layoff. Cannerud in early! Oh, what a chance! Inside 2 minutes, the champions nearly in front. And they should be. It was really well worked, but not quite well finished enough. And the Swede has her head in her hands, but no ball in net.
Yeah, really good move out here. Lucy Bronze, Macario dropping deep, lovely round the corner ball to Ritten Cannerud, and really she should be scoring that. She's got her head in her hands for a reason, because for me, I think she's either got to go through the goalkeeper's legs or over towards the other side, but just tries to nick it in at the near post. She's just about covered by Van Domselaar in the Arsenal goal, but it should be 1-0 to Chelsea.
Lucy Bronze is down here. Or Niamh Charles, excuse me, Natalie Bjorn. But Sonia Bonpastor, well, this time last year came here, got an early goal when Arsenal had to do something, and straight away her new team, as they were then, shut them down for a while, and then actually by the end were clinging on. And yes, the $1 million woman is fit again, yet to play this season, but on the bench today, Naomi Girma. So if there is a problem for Bjorn, there's a ready-made replacement there. There always is at Chelsea. Such are the quality options, strength in depth, unparalleled, I'd suggest, anywhere in the women's game.
Doesn't look particularly comfortable, Natalie Bjorn, just pulled up without really any challenge on her. She's not moving the best at the moment, but obviously feels she can give it a good go.
If I'm Arsenal, I'm thinking, get it to the forward players and let's see. Someone try and run her on that channel, maybe. And here comes the squeeze. Niamh Charles. Big game for everyone out there, obviously. There's a few, like Niamh Charles, who aren't first choice, absolutely, these days. Used to be a time when it was her and Guro Reiten on the left every single game, and the arrival of Baltimore and others has slightly changed that picture.
It has, and Niamh Charles has had a few injury problems as well, hasn't she? The shoulder injury at the start of last season really affected her momentum and her position within the team, kept her out for a long time, and just been a little bit in and out, as you say. And with the changing in formation as well that Sonia Bonpastor has experimented with this season, it sometimes leaves her without a position on the pitch. But obviously did enough in the second half last week to earn a start today.
And a good tackle there As Thompson finds Cuthbert, who has a head-up, space and options. Cannerud, one of them. Here she is again. Smashes it into Katie McCabe. Big cheer from a big crowd here. Yes, that was bad timing, that. Dislocated shoulder for Niamh Charles. You do that. Missed the start of the season when a new left-sided player in Sandy Baltimore had come in. Played very, very well immediately, Baltimore. There was no bedding in time. Suddenly, through no fault of your own, you find yourself second choice there. Cannerud, corner.
She looks an outlet, doesn't she, Cannerud, on that right-hand side. I think just now when she had the shot blocked, maybe could have gone one further out to Lucy Bronze alongside her, but looks like she's full of confidence this afternoon. Probably knows she should have scored, wants to make up for that, but yeah, it looks the way that Chelsea are attacking a lot down that right-hand side in the early moments.
Trying to match up a record here today, Chelsea. More on that in a minute. Captain, Bronze, Bright and Bjorn lurking, with Charles and Macario nearer the goal line. Chelsea looking the more threatening so far. Pacey, Cannerud and Thompson generally find it's one, if not both of those last players back, in case of a counter. Arsenal struggling to get out. Tough effort that for Vika Kaptan.
Just doesn't sit down for her on the edge of the box there, but well worth a go. Nice touch, but she couldn't get her left foot over the top of the ball to keep it down. So Arsenal just struggling to clear their lines a little bit from those situations, whether it's a set piece or a cross. Just need to get a better connection on the ball and clear their lines a bit better.
Too much on that, another sloppy one, and Chelsea's pressure is forcing Arsenal to look at just a little bit ragged early on here. Heck of a pace to the game is Cuthbert. Another glimpse of, I know she wears the number 9 shirt, but Kat Macario more of a 10, and you saw it there, that lovely link play there to play in Canada. That really is, that's Macario all over. Sonia Bonpastor saying pre-match she plays there for the US, so it shouldn't be a problem. Blackstenius trying to get in round the back of Bjorn, and that was the first test there. She won it immaculately.
Yeah, you could see Blackstenius right as soon as that ball was won in the middle of the park. She was straight in on the shoulder of Bjorn, wanted the ball in behind, just not enough pace on it. Bjorn does really well to get the tackle in, and certainly, as you said, a test for that injury, but that's what Blackstenius will want to do, straight in behind, putting the defenders under pressure with that pace.
Speaking of pace, Thompson, rapid. And Cannerud equally so, pointing to where she wanted it. Thompson, brilliant! These first 8 minutes have been all about the champions. And they've come to Arsenal again. And they're doing what they so often do in these big ones in particular. No wonder they're having a conflab down there, the Gunners. It's Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. And Alyssa Thompson has just scored a gorgeous opening goal.
Yeah, it's a really bold selection from the Arsenal manager, but that midfield too being absolutely cut through by Chelsea's midfield, and Alyssa Thompson drives forward, brilliant little layoff to Cannerud, and she does really well to recognise she can't get a shot off, and the only option Alyssa Thompson has got from that angle and the way the ball's played back to her is the chip, and she executes it absolutely perfectly. And to me, this is the most free-flowing I've seen Chelsea so far this season, and they look absolutely rampant already.
A great shot of a great shot.
Brilliant moment for her. You can see that she's obviously a popular member of the team. She's come in this season, taken a little while to settle, but that's a really big moment for a big player, and you can see why they put the money on the table for her.
A WSL goal scorer, not her first Chelsea goal, got one at the bridge against Paris in the Champions League, but a big one here in a big game. It's feeling open. Blackstenius to Ford. And there's Kira Walsh doing what Kira Walsh does, in front of the defence there to mop up any potential mess. I'm not suggesting they're only going to be a counter-attacking side, Helen, but if you've got Thompson and you've got Canary, I mean, they are two flyers. That is a lot to deal with for Arsenal, especially, as you say, when Sleggers has got Pelova and Mariona Caldente, in theory, in there. Two lovely forward-thinking midfielders, but they're not Leah Valti and Kim Little, or even Kyra Cooney-Cross to some degree. It's quite a lot to ask in there.
Yeah.
And they are losing out again here.
They are. As soon as I saw the lineup, I did think, well, it's brave, but I don't see a lot of protection for that back line for Arsenal. And that's the way, at the moment, it's playing out.
Well, they get the relative respite of an offside flag here, but they've got to just regroup here and sort themselves out, because they've got a long time to deal with 1-0, and that's entirely possible. 2-0 down to Chelsea. It is pretty much game over. But the Blues look sharp here, and in terms of shape, they look like they're just going to keep causing Arsenal problems. It may well need an early tweak, not necessarily of personnel, but something from René Sleggers here. The Gunners have dropped 7 points already, remember. Beaten by Manchester City and a couple of draws. And in a 22-game season, that much, that early, you're already in trouble if you're really thinking about a title push. Blackstenius quickly onto it. And again, Natalie Bjorn passes the test at the expense of a corner.
Yeah, she looks a threat, doesn't she, Blackstenius, already? I don't know how much service her and Russo are going to get, but those runs in behind are going to be so important, because her pace will trouble anyone. And then it's a case of what can she do if and when she does get on the ball. But she's won her side a corner. And the quicker Arsenal can feel like they're getting back in the game, even if it's not with a goal, if they can feel that they can get a foothold, all the better for them.
Just to push Chelsea back a bit, keep them back in their box a little bit, so to speak. Beloved of these parts, Beth Mead on corner duty. It's low and it's not really dealt with. Russo! What a block that is. Classic Lucy Bronze.
Fantastic block from Lucy Bronze. I don't think Russo quite caught it as she would have hoped, but it was travelling certainly on target. Brilliant from Hannah Hampton reaction at the front post, but Lucy Bronze, even if she does catch it cleanly, I think she's going to block Alessia Russo's shot there. Just throws herself at the ball. Brilliant block from her, and that is why she's still the #1 for Chelsea and for England in that back line.
You certainly don't make many like Lucy Bronze, who's chasing again here. Ford has had to go cross-country to get away from her. Now it's Erin Cuthbert on the chase. Fox back in the side today. Robin Moy, too much on that. That was pretty smart, you're right, from Hannah Hampton there, because she's expecting a touch from a defender, right? And there might actually have been a little slice on it, I think possibly from Cuthbert there. So it's a quick reaction that the slow-mo doesn't really do justice to.
Yeah, reacted really well, and that is what she is good at. Her reactions and her reflexes are right up there, and that was just an example of that.
More brilliance from Bronze to get rid of McCabe. Macario! Strong save, where's it going? Off the bar! And Van Domselaar is there again to deny Captine. What a game this is. We could have had 4 goals already.
Wow, it's breathless stuff, isn't it? A good save from Van Domselaar, but you'd hope that she'd get a bit more to send it over the bar rather than on top of the bar. Causes a bit of havoc, reacts well to the next header. Perhaps, I'm not sure who it was in the end with the header for Chelsea, but perhaps maybe could have done better. Captain it was. But yeah, it is breathless stuff, and Arsenal really struggling to deal with that Chelsea counter-attack. As you said, they're not a counter-attacking team, but when they do it, they are brilliant. And I think for Arsenal, if you let this game get away from you, you are in all sorts of trouble, because Chelsea building up a head of steam is going to cause you absolute havoc.
Well, it all started with the Megs. Katie McCabe embarrassed there by Lucy Bronze, but Macari doing the hold-up play there. Great balance, and it's a good hit. There's a lot of power behind it.
Yeah, it is a good save, in fairness.
Here come Arsenal again. It is frantic. It is brilliant. Cracking entertainment already. 15 minutes in here. We've got a WSL classic in the making. And Arsenal have to get the next goal in it.
That's what you want, though, isn't it? These big games get such big build-ups, and quite often they've turned into drab contests where teams cancel each other out, but both sides really going for it. You know, the attacking players on the pitch is what everybody wants to see. And yeah, just going back to that save from Van Domselaar, I think I did her a little bit of disservice. It's hit really well from Macario. She gets a good save on it, keeps it out of the goal, and as a goalkeeper, that's all you can ask, really.
And you hope for a little bit of fortune. It could easily have looped in. But yeah, that was powerful. It was also moving. There was some swerve on that shot. Macario, Mead, and again into Ford, smartly moved, but Chelsea closing ranks. Caitlin Ford trying to find a gap and drill it through the crowd. There was more of a scuff than a drill from the Aussie.
Credit to Arsenal, they've not, you know, heads haven't gone down. That quick regroup after the Chelsea goal. I think there, Caitlin Ford, you can see why she's had a shot, but Beth Mead showing she wanted the ball there. Maybe a pass was a better option, but they're starting to put a little bit of pressure on Chelsea, but there is always that threat that if you pile too many players forward.
It's a cheap giveaway. Pelova's interested. Walsh does enough to help out. Chelsea get away with that one.
She needed a better touch there from Pelova, didn't it? And they were causing problems. But yeah, if you send too many forward and try and press too high, then you can leave yourselves open, as we saw for the goal.
Be a free kick. I feel like I'm pretty safe in saying that we haven't seen the last of the scoring in this game, one way or another.
I'd like to think so, yeah. I think that it looks like that we could have quite a few goals either way this afternoon. I hope so, anyway.
Beth Mead got the early opener the last time Arsenal beat Chelsea. It was here, and it was super convincing. 4-1 it was. That was a couple of seasons back. One semi-comfortable win for Chelsea here last term, and the game at Stamford Bridge was actually one of those that promised much and actually ended up being very convincing for them. You don't have that much time when Erin Cuthbert's on your tail. Six shots already in 18 minutes from the champions here, 3 of them on target. Looking dangerous on the counter, and yet 2/3 of the ball.
Yeah, it's a perfect scenario for Sonia Bonpastor, isn't it? Being dangerous in whichever way the game is shaping up. You always know that they've got something in their locker to go up the other end and create and score chances.
Well, Arsenal have scored in all but one of their matches this season. The goalless draw against Manchester United, the exception to the rule. The crowds here are used to seeing goals for this season and before. They finished last season. In their last 8 home games in this league last season, they scored 4 goals minimum in every single one of them. That is unbelievable.
That is an incredible record, really is. They like playing here, don't they? They're very difficult to beat, and I think in the last 24 games only Chelsea have beaten them at home in the WSL. So yeah, there are goals in this for them. They just need to make sure that they keep it tighter than they have done so far, and then, you know, we go back to that midfield area. That's where they can get overrun, but with the 2 up front and the players out wide, they've got plenty of threats themselves. Just
looking at Pelova there receiving the ball, there wasn't another Arsenal player near, and there were 4 Chelsea players near. She loses that there, big trouble. A few groans for the misplaced pass. Natalie Bjorn, who seems to be okay now after that, whatever it was early on.
Caldente as well. She's a player that likes to drift into pockets and find spaces to pick up the ball. It's what she's so good at. But if there's only one other person in the midfield with her, if she goes drifting, it leaves a big, big gap, as we're seeing just here.
Right on cue, the Oracle, Ellen Ward.
I've been called other things.
That's the thing, we know nobody created more chances than Mariona Caldente last season. Brilliant, brilliant footballer for a very long time. But if she's playing deeper, A, she's going to be attracted to doing those sorts of things, and B, she can't do them as well and as often because she isn't there. Kim Little, Leah Williamson, two players I'm sure NA Slaggers would love to have out there. Taylor Hines there as well, dropping out of the side. The new signing today. We've got our first WSL start for the Gunners last time out.
Well, I will forever bang the Kim Little drum. I was lucky enough to play with her when she was in her first few years at Arsenal, and for me she's a player that goes too much under the radar to many, and it's only when she's not in the team that you realise what she does. But for me, to have had the career that she's had and still be so important at one of the best clubs in Europe, I think shows what type of player she is. And you know, going back to that Women's Champions League final in the summer, she was the best player on the pitch for me, and when she's not available for Arsenal, I think it makes a big difference.
Her 9th season of her second spell. Incredible.
You know, game's changed a lot, it's adapted. You know, she was always that number 10, scoring goals, creating chances, and of course...
Caitlin Ford trying to create something here and giving Lucy Bronze a problem. Brilliant work from Ford. Chelsea close ranks in the nick of time with Mariona Caldente in there. Now, I do remember in this game last season when Arsenal started to come back strongly at Chelsea from 2-0 down, Caitlin Ford was giving Lucy Bronze a lot of problems.
She's a really good player. Just think she just took one step too many. She could have had a shot, she could have played it earlier, but just that little bit of hesitation gave the Chelsea defenders that chance to get back, and Captain does really well. And again, Lucy Bronze in the thick of it to thwart Caldente. But yeah, Caitlin Ford's an excellent player on that left-hand side. She will cause Lucy Bronze problems. She's sharp, she's quick, but she's got that little bit of nous about her too. Just took too long on that occasion.
There's definitely a case for just smashing it there and seeing what happens with all the bodies in that box. Halfway through the first half, another Beth Mead corner in a really good game. Pelova keeping the attack alive. There's a swing there from Blackstenius, and Steph Catley has gone against her. She's not quite sure why.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of looked a bit six of one, half a dozen of the other. Just going to have a look now. Don't really know. A bit of a sandwich, I suppose, between Catley and I think maybe Blackstenius there. But yeah, I think if that gets let go, nobody really complains. But the referee decided it was a foul.
Yeah, not really seeing anything there for my part, but she got away with it. They've had a few nearly moments, Arsenal. Some diligent last-ditch defending from Chelsea to concede a couple of corners rather than potential goal-bound efforts. Keeping the champions in front for now. Niamh Charles right in front of her coach. Here is Mariona Caldente. Katie McCabe, sent off against Chelsea last season.
They've reacted pretty well, I think, Arsenal, to going a goal behind, which is credit to them. I know there's been another couple of moments for Chelsea as well, but it would suggest that if the possession graphic was to show up again, it may well have changed slightly. Arsenal enjoying a bit more of the ball, certainly trying to force Chelsea back. And I think, you know, you could argue that attack is the best form of defence against Chelsea, but it's just about that balance.
Mead, nicely done. Thompson following Fox. That was nicely done too. Oh, it did come back her way.
just tried to control that deflection off the Chelsea player, and in hindsight, if she'd have left it, they'd have been up there with a set piece in their favour. But yeah, you can understand why she's tried to take that in her stride, because if she does get it under control, she's in and behind the Chelsea back line. Another good spell for Arsenal.
Ran out of room. Wins, 4 draws, 3 defeats by the end, when the Champions League campaign was obviously at its business end for Arsenal last term. That lost to Chelsea early, and then 2 right at the end. Saw the Blues crowned, for once, not on the final day. Arsenal having been one of the 3 victims in the previous seasons to finish beneath Chelsea on the final day. Once for City, once for United, once for Arsenal. The spring runs of the Blues, just remarkable. Just powering home, except one year, when it was in fact effectively Arsenal that gave Chelsea the title. Blackstenius scoring twice in the final couple of minutes at Man City. And without that, City would have been champions. Hampton rushed, normally really good with her feet, used to be an outfielder till relatively late, but that one there, a push off the left peg, and Arsenal have it back higher than they probably should have.
I'm not quite sure she wanted that ball on her left foot from Millie Bright there, but many other places Bright could have gone with the pass, but just maybe put a bit too much on it. As you say, Hannah Hampton, one of the best in the world with her feet, that's for sure. Some of the passes she can play, could almost stick her in midfield.
I suspect with her confidence, she'd think she could do it too. Catley up to Ford. McCabe is high and wide.
I think all goalkeepers think that they could do a job outfield, in fairness.
Some with more justification than others, I reckon. It's Caldente. Could change at any moment, but it feels like Arsenal have calmed Chelsea's attacks here. Robin Moy. Of course, Chelsea can sit in a bit if that's how they want to do it. They've got a lead and they've got the pace on the counter if needed. And Arsenal still may have that soft centre when it comes to any potential transition.
Yeah, quite content just to hold their shape. Arsenal going sort of around rather than through, which is what they'll want. More bodies in that middle of the park.
Good layoff. Blackstenius and Russo combining nicely. And Emily Fox wasn't on the wavelength for that pass. And even if she had been, I doubt she'd have got there.
As me saying that Arsenal are going around and they split the Chelsea midfield with one pass. Nice idea from Russo. I quite like the pair of them up there together. I think they offer something really different and a challenge for the likes of Bright and Bjorn to deal with. Emily Fox, who's normally so attack-minded, just not on that occasion ready for the pass in behind.
There can't be many strikers who are as good as Stina Blackstenius, who start as infrequently as she does. Arsenal played 42 times last year. She started 11 of them. That's all. Ford running bronze again. Absolutely the right idea, but that ball has somehow drifted in between all 3 potential targets in there as Thompson tries to set Macario on her way.
Yeah, she looks good out there on the left forward, doesn't she? I do like her as a player. Someone that just more often than not delivers in terms of goals and assists. Going back to Blackstenius, I really like her as a player as well. An old school centre forward that wants to get off the shoulder. She's not too worried about getting involved in the build-up play. wants to be in there, getting shots on goal. Thought she had a fantastic Euros for Sweden as well. Her finishing, I think, has sometimes been questioned. She seems to have really refined that and worked hard on it. And yeah, she'll still miss the odd opportunity, but she gets so many of them that she'll still score and get good numbers in terms of goals. And as I said, she only started a couple of games before today, but has got the highest goal contributions of the Arsenal team this season, so she's doing something right.
As is Caitlin Ford. What balance there. That was brilliant. Here's McCabe. Low and awkward, but met on the bounce by Bjorn. Coming infield a little there. She's starting to have a greater influence on this game. I just wonder about her Aussie colleague Carpenter up against her. This is Blackstenius trying to make the room, and Natalie Bjorn just waited, didn't commit until she had to, and saw a tiny window there to stick a toe out.
She did, watched her really well. Blackstenius got a turn initially and he thought she was going to burst past her, but Bjorn stands her ground, keeps her eye on the ball, and Lucy Bronze with a coif in her own box, ready to send it back to Hannah Hampton. Really good defender, Natalie Bjorn. I've enjoyed watching her over the last couple of years. I think she's been a great addition to that Chelsea side.
The Players' Player of the Year for the Blues last season, Natalie Bjorn. Here she is again. And the regular partner of Millie Bright with Kadisha Buchanan having done the dreaded ACL. And with Naomi Girma being more not fit than fit since her arrival. Been great for Chelsea to have Bjorn available pretty much every week. Suddenly, there's that hole again. Driving through it. As Vika Kaptein, the ball is on for Kannerud. She tried to play it, and there's a crucial little touch in there.
Yeah, that really opened up for Kaptein in the middle. Just couldn't get quite enough on the pass. I think it might have been Steph Catley with the vital touch. Possibly Caldente, I'm not sure, but it was really important in the end because that ball through to Kannerud was on. And had she got there, she was in on goal again.
Here's Kannerud again. She got the equaliser here in that match the last time Arsenal beat the Blues. It made it 1-1, but Arsenal powered on to a 4-1 victory. Alessia Russo got two of them. Here's Bronze. Why not? No one went to her.
Yeah, you could see the cogs turning, couldn't you? You couldn't believe that she had so much space. Bit reluctant possibly on the left foot, but steps in, reads the throw in really well, waiting for somebody to come to her for an option to open up. It doesn't, so she has a go, and it's not far away. It had Van Domselaar worried, that's for sure. But yeah, Arsenal can't afford to give a player, any player in this Chelsea team, that sort of time and space. Probably just fortunate that it was on her weaker left foot.
Scored 3 times last season, including what was effectively the title-winning header at Man U. It was one of those typical Chelsea games, actually, where for chunks of it they'd been outplayed, but they just pinched it by a goal. 10 times they won by a single goal in the WSL last season.
They do know how to close out a game when they need to, don't they, Chelsea? Some real experience in there, know how to play the game.
Blackstenius was offside. They still managed 10 goals last season, including that one in Lisbon. And the year before, where she wasn't starting anymore, she got 17 across all competitions. That is amazing. Because obviously that was Russo's first season, and it was more often than not Russo instead of her, occasionally with her. Now, she's interested here too. Blackstenius, Millie Bright absolutely had to get there. And just did in the nick of time, as did Hampton. That could have gone wrong very easily.
I'll tell you what, it looked early on that Millie Bright wasn't going to get there. If Beth Mead, I know she gets there in the end, but if she'd have been slightly more on the front foot, she could have rode onto that ball and played a slightly better weighted pass. In the end, it was still a good ball. Blackstenius just about misses out with Millie Bright and Hannah Hampton combining.
Well, Hampton gave one away, now Millie Bright's done it. Mead spotting Katie McCabe in a little bit of space that is now closed down by Cannerid. Some encouragement here for Arsenal, but fact is, right now they're 8 points behind Chelsea. There's 10 minutes to go till half-time. Here comes Steph Catley. Not seen her venturing forward much lately. Regular centre-back now, but he's played a left-back role previously quite a lot. Ford again, doing well again. Blackstenius, it's pretty comfortable for Hampton. Caitlin Ford seems the most likely catalyst for Arsenal here, whether that's wide or in field. Yeah,
she's doing really well. The strength that she's got a fantastic touch and turn on her. She was asking the referee why there wasn't a foul, but you can see why it's played on. Blackstenius gets the ball, just doesn't get enough purchase on the shot to really trouble Hannah Hampton.
Chelsea gifting it away at the moment, and that's a big chance for someone who scored 19 times last term, and they might not get better ones than that. Maybe they will, it is open, but Mariota Caldente here, and Chelsea have got away with it 3 times now, trying to play out from the back.
It is a symptom of their play at the moment, Chelsea, and it was the same last week against London City, where they're playing themselves into trouble, but teams just aren't able to make it count for whatever reason. But they're really pressing well, Arsenal, but they've just got to make the most. You're not going to keep getting chances after chance. You know, you have to make these ones count, and Caldente, a player of her quality, you'd expect a better finish than that.
Yeah, that's nowhere near the corner on either side now, and it lacked power. 9 league goals, 10 in the other competitions. Brilliant goal scorer for Barcelona, for Spain, for Arsenal. She will be gutted about that, because for her, that's a pretty comfortable curl into a bottom corner somewhere, I'd say.
It's certainly one way to expect her to work Hannah Hampton more than she did, that's for sure. But it's, you know, that the possession stats are telling us that Arsenal are right back in this game.
And yet, now it's Alyssa Thompson on the counter, running at Bubba Moy, who's got problems. A bit like Ford earlier, I think there's a point where she could go earlier there, Thompson. Here comes Mead. It's a good game, this. I'm amazed there's only been one. Blackstenius is there. Hampton is there. I can't believe it's still only 1-0. It could be anything.
Yeah, it's a really good game to watch. The crowd are enjoying it. Hannah Hampton's just taken a bit of a whack there, but Beth Mead, for me, just like you're saying about Thompson, could she have gone earlier? Blackstenius was wanting that ball, as she always is. But by the time she played it, she was offside and there was too much on it. I think there's an opportunity with the pace Blackstenius has got. Play it now. Just too much time on the ball, and then, yeah, it was always going to be Hannah Hampton's, and the offside flag was up anyhow.
Right, team talk for Renee Slegers here. And, that's 2 passes. We're talking about Caldente being disappointed. I'm sure Beth Mead will be a couple of potential assists there. Royalty in these parts. I'll let you take it away, Helen.
Well, you look at those 2, and they're probably the 2 people that have changed the game the most in this country in terms of women's football. Not many people around now, the younger players, the younger spectators, will know too much about Vic Akers, but they should know everything about him, because he was the person that got Arsenal off the ground as a team and as a force, and then everybody had to follow suit. And then you fast forward to Emma Hayes' time at Chelsea, and she did exactly the same thing and took it to another level. But that groundwork that Vic Akers laid, the route into the club that he had through his role as the kit manager for the men's team, allowed Arsenal to become what they were and what they are now. And as I said, Emma Hayes then took that mantle from a Chelsea perspective, but elevated the entirety of the women's game in England. And as you said, royalty is probably the best word to describe them.
Doubles and trebles galore. Treble 2009, the last season in charge for the great Vic Akers. And Miri Taylor has put Aston Villa 1 up at Manchester United. So right now, this day is going about as well for Chelsea as it could. And I think I'm right in saying Miri Taylor's only previous WSL goal was on the opening day as a Liverpool player when they incredibly went to Arsenal and won. So that is a rare goal for her, a big one for Villa, who had been very tight, front and back actually this season, until extraordinary ding-dong at Villa Park last weekend, 3-3 with Everton. They were behind and ahead and lost the win in stoppage time.
That's what you want from the WSL though, isn't it? Games with quality and excitement. The team's really stepping up and not just the same old all the time.
What I was going to say earlier, Helen, about Carpenter was that, never say this within 10 miles of Lucy Bronze, but normally, is that Carpenter is quicker. And if Ford is going to give Bronze a problem, there is that option perhaps later in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if it is still only a 1-goal margin. At that point, it is somebody that could potentially shore it up for Chelsea in terms of that pace, but...
Because she's rapid, right, Carpenter? Ford won't run past her, is my point, and she can run past Lucy Bronze.
Absolutely, yeah.
Pelliver pushed wide by Kira Walsh. Clever pass into Fox. Thompson just maybe tweaked something there in getting back. She's so quick. There's some pace on this field, though.
There is really good play from Pelliver there. Little inside reverse ball, and just again a slight hesitation from Emily Fox. Just wanted to look up into the box, but for me, keep your head down and zip that across before Thompson gets a chance to get back to you, because, as you said, she's so quick. You're not going to have long on the ball in those areas.
Yeah, you can play the percentages there. You'd think that, you know, even without a head up, there's going to be a couple of red and white shirts in there. And there's more than that now, though. Arsenal 2.5 minutes or so, plus whatever is added on to try and get level before the break. And the corner is met at the near post by Erin Cuthbert. Maybe I've jinxed it by saying there's no way it's going to end 1-0 here. I suppose it would be very Chelsea to somehow just see that through, dig in and do it. Home fans don't like that, but foul goes against the Gunners. Mel Burgin referee, by the way.
Clever ball forward from Katie McCabe. I don't think there's a lot in that, to be honest. I can see why the crowd and the Arsenal fans are upset. They're the ones you just want the ref to let it go.
Trying to slide it into the channel for Stina Blackstenius. Captain took a risk in letting it roll, and Alessia Russo almost picked her pocket. Walsh, nicely done. Alyssa Thompson looking at her colleagues and also thinking about giving Vauban-Moy the run, but now she's double-teamed.
You can see Vauban-Moy there. She didn't want to get too tight because she knows a little push and go, and Alyssa Thompson's away. She defended really well there, just stood her ground, kept enough distance and allowed her teammates to recover, forced Chelsea back. But if she goes and tries to get tight, as I said, a little touch around her and she's away.
Just off radar again with another pass there. very high previous standards, of course. All-time top assist maker in the WSL, Beth Mead. Not quite got a passing range yet. Macario may have been offside anyway, but that's beautifully read and calmly done, Lottie Vaven-Moy. Can Ford get there and keep it in as we go into stoppage time? Yes, she can. 4 added minutes, and again, Ford gets the better of Lucy Bronze. It's not often you see it, but it did happen in this same fixture last season a few times.
Yeah, Caitlin Ford is posing a real threat and a problem for Lucy Bronze on that side. Just hasn't quite got the delivery right as yet once she got past her, but it's certainly a question that Sonia Bonpastor will have to ask herself into the second half as to whether there needs to be a change made. You know, I'm as reluctant as anyone to take Lucy Bronze off the pitch, but
are you gonna tell her, are you, in the dressing room? Lucy, I'm taking you off. Good luck.
But you also consider that she only played her first 90 minutes of the season last week. You know, there's that issue as well, possibly. And here we go again.
Bjorn heads behind, and to the second minute of stoppage time, Arsenal have another corner. I suppose in terms of half-time changes, it may be Renee Sleggers who has to consider that. Not necessarily always changes in the people doing it, just what they're doing and how they're doing it. But her team have been good. They've had some half chances. Mariona Caldente, I'd love that shot back again. Well, look at the crowd here massing near the penalty spot. They'll make their break shortly, you'd imagine. It's a shorty for now. Not seeing the crossing angle yet. It's been made now by Mariona Caldente. Oh, there's a lot of traffic in there. There was never going to be a shot that wasn't blocked, was there? Captain got out there to get in the way of Pelova pretty much as she's taking aim there. Passing up a free opportunity to put the ball in.
Just taking too many touches again, I feel, for Caldente on that occasion.
Pelova hoists it in, and that'll be a safe catch for Hampton. Can they find the composure in the second half? Just to have that, I guess, the belief in their own touch, Helen, that they can maybe take it and then put that ball in rather than having the third and fourth touch and then doing it, because Chelsea are closing down generally by that point. Here's Ford. She's gone early with that one. But again, it's too close to Double H.
Yeah, I think she's maybe looking for Blackstenius or Beth Mead there rather than having a shot, but again, she's the route that Arsenal are choosing to take when they go forward, and rightly so. But you're right, they just need to have that conviction in their touch, in their efforts. At the moment, it's one of those games where you feel the longer this goes on, you're going to get that feeling of, is it just not going to be our day? And that's when Chelsea will then grow back into the game and punish them. It's what they're good at, it's what they do. They sort of drain the belief out of a side, even if it's not because they're playing brilliantly themselves.
100%. Massive part of 6 straight WSL crowns. That entire principle right there. One extra touch, 1 second is 5 yards of someone closing you down when they're on the sprint. Makes a huge difference. Half time at the Emirates, and one brilliant goal separates these two huge clubs. Alyssa Thompson, the scorer of it. We could easily have had more. Van Domselaar has made a couple of good stops. Hampton's been pretty busy at the other end, and her defenders in front of her certainly have been. Canner had nearly scored to begin with, but Thompson has scored, and at the break the champions are 1 up in North London. It's Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1.
Defenders to stop passing the ball to the Arsenal players. And if I'm Arsenal, I'm saying we need to have a little bit more faith and belief in our convictions and go and punish Chelsea when we get those moments. Maybe try and tighten up that midfield space where possible for Arsenal, but
no changes, by the way, from either coach in terms of the people out there on the field. Mead. There's Thompson again. That is an absolute carbon copy of the first half. Maybe there's a nanosecond there you can get a cross in. I mean, she might block it, but then you get the corner, I suppose.
yeah, credit to Thompson, working back defensively, not just someone that's going to do things in one direction, which is good for any coach to see. But again, an opportunity for Arsenal to get in behind them, and just taking that split second too long. Just give it a go. The worst that can happen is, as you said, you get a deflection, a block shot, blocked cross. You could get a set piece from it.
Whilst dropping in, Mariona Caldente putting the squeeze on her there. Bronze to Kenneret. Sucked in the challenge of McCabe, got the better of her. That's good from Pelliver. And Lucy Bronze caught by Caitlin Ford. Well, Burgin spotting that one.
Yeah, just ever so slightly late. Caitlin Ford on Lucy Bronze. It's going to take a bit more than that to completely floor her. And Chelsea right back. But a good start, you'd say, in the opening couple of minutes from Arsenal. But this is the threat they have.
I mean, that wasn't even a contest. Alyssa Thompson had about 10 yards to make up there. By the time she got the control of the ball, she was 5 yards in front. She is so quick.
I'm just chuckling at that little dive there from Caitlin Ford. Felt a couple of hands in the back. And off she goes, diving onto the ball.
Katie McCabe has kept her powder dry so far. I'd normally expect to have seen her steaming into a couple of challenges by now.
Yeah, you're right. She seems to have taken a slightly lower profile in the approach to the game today. I'm sure she won't be too far from it if anything does kick off, though.
Liv Smith back fit for the bench today. Frida Marnham scored a fair few goals already this season. She's there as an option as well. Cuthbert. Fox dealt with it, and then so did Catley. Bronze heading it back in towards Captine. It just won't sit down for anyone there. Scrappy exchange there, a bit of fight ball.
The crowd have gone a bit quiet already in this second half. You'd think the way that Arsenal finished the first half, they'd be right up for this. Maybe that's what Chelsea have done to them as well, just suck that belief and energy out of them.
Nice drop of the shoulder from Catley. Walsh straight across, but they've managed to pop it round her. Rousseau, eyes in the back of her head to lose the attentions of Thompson. This is Fox, and this is promising for Arsenal. Here's Beth Mead, one-on-one with Niamh Charles. Chelsea are back and organised. The gaps, well, there aren't any. Hence why they've pinched it back. Here's Erin Cuthbert. Good industry from Ford. Sonia Bonpastor orchestrating the runs. And Vika Kaptein has done exactly what she wanted her to do there. Run that right channel. What a clever pass into Lucy Bronze. Surrounded by red and white, didn't matter. Is Kaptein for two, and it probably would have been, and still might be, Macario. And Neve Charles denied by Thompson.
Wow, where to start unpicking that one? So many half opportunities, or good opportunities for Chelsea. Just couldn't make one of them count to probably settle the game there and then. Van Domselaar and Lotte Wubben-Moy amongst those throwing their bodies on the line. Initially a really weak challenge from Pelova, allowing Kaptein to get the shot in. Wubben-Moy blocking a couple. Kat Macario with a really clever touch to Neve Charles, who gets a good strike on it, but watched all the way by Van Domselaar. But that was a real chance for Chelsea to really put this game to bed early in the second half.
Nervy times, big block.
There we go.
There we go. First talking to for Katie McCabe. Couple of suspensions last season, as per. I did note that by the end of last season she had taken herself up to 37 yellow cards in the WSL all time. That's a pretty impressive number.
I'm assuming that is some sort of record. Not sure what that exchange was about, mind you.
Maybe chat,
Quite
rather
possibly.
than deed, so to speak. Well kept in by Neve Charles. She is not a regular scorer, as you would expect. It's not her job. One a season if you're lucky. Well, I don't know if that was the best thing there, trying to stop the throw, but... Oh, well done. Well done. Back gets Lucy Bronze, having kind of helped Caitlin Ford to it. Lucy Bronze is saying there was a bum-bum, a double touch, and it should have been a goal kick. Nice try. It's a corner. She might be right.
She may well be right. And she, I don't know if it took a touch and then a touch and then another touch off of Lucy Bronze, but either way, it is a corner. And yeah, that initial sort of effort to try and keep it from going from a throw-in almost could have been costly. But again, Caitlin Ford just taking an extra step.
That was a bum-bum-bum. Meads corner. Oh, it's a good one. And it's 1-1. Cracking finish into the roof. Stina Blackstenius gets a start, gets a goal. Not the first big one she scored against the Blues. It's a huge one at the top of the WSL table here. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1. You're not saving that, Hannah Hampton.
Blackstenius scores big goals. She is a fantastic forward player for Arsenal, and that is why she's in the team this afternoon. I think she's had a good game. She's looked a threat. Excellent delivery from the corner from Beth Mead. Chelsea get it all wrong. There's not really many players in and around that situation for Arsenal, but a combination of Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze just can't get it away. Blackstenius doing what all good players do. The ball goes over her head. She turns on a pin, ready for any knockdowns, and absolutely leathers it into the top corner. Fantastic from Arsenal. Exactly what this game needed.
1, 2, 3. I think there is another touch back off Bronzette. You're seeing that because the question is, should it have been a corner?
Yeah, I think it comes back off her knee. It's really hard to see from that angle. It looks like it hits Caitlin Ford's foot and then back off the knee of Lucy Bronze. But, you know, she was adamant, but it's done now. And there's a whole corner sequence to go from then that Chelsea, in truth, should have done better with.
Ford into Mariona Caldente. Crowder up now. You're so right about Blackstenius. Oh, I think we're going to see our first card for that one. Guess who? Mel Burgeon went straight to the pocket. even by her standards, that's late.
Yeah, I think she was frustrated that there wasn't a decision given earlier for a little tug back on Caldente. She's taken matters into her own hand. Lucy Bronze touches it past, and yeah, I think there was never any doubt that that was going to end in a yellow card for Arsenal's number 11.
Captain on the switch, Ford cutting it out. Caitlin Ford's had a really good game. Semi-finals, 6-pointers, finals. Stina Blackstenius, as you say, Helen. Not just a good volume of goals, but big ones, absolutely. Scored the one that beat Chelsea in the League Cup final a couple of seasons back. Ford. Oh, there's a moment to pass it. It may still matter. This is Mead. No. Flags up. Well, they're on terms. They could have had more, Helen.
I cannot believe that Caitlin Ford didn't play that sooner. Just seeing a replay of Blackstenius' goal, is there a question that it maybe comes off her hand? I don't think it does. I think she moves her arms out the way and finishes it superbly there, but just going back to that chance that
Here's Ford. Harmless and frustratingly wide.
Yeah, Caitlin Ford, she has been a constant threat for Arsenal. There was an opportunity a couple of moments ago where she could have played it through so much earlier to Beth Mead and or Stina Blackstenius, but it didn't come.
Well, this is why it has been chalked off and why it is still 1-0. That's a heck of a spot. Harsh or not?
I think very harsh. I'm not sure it touches her hand. I thought she moved her arms out the way. Blackstenius finished it really well.
Fox out to Mead. Good work from Niamh Charles. A clever scoop from Robin Moy. Millie Bright read it from a fair distance off. And she's going to have to try and do that again, Blackstenius, as Renee Sleggers readies the changes on the touchline here. Taylor Hines inbound. That may be because Katie McCabe can't be risked, or it might be a tweak. And Liv Smith.
It's a good option to come off the bench, isn't it? Liv Smith had a fabulous season for Liverpool. Got her a move to Arsenal and she started her career here really well. Obviously suffered that injury on international duty.
Caldente. Blackstenius with the layoff. Maybe too pretty. Have to start putting their foot through it at some point as Macario tries to set Thompson on her way. And this time there's enough of a head start for Robin Moy to deal with it. Pell over here. McCabe wide left. Nicely done for Ford. Frustration there for Renee Sleggers, who didn't think that should have been. We've hit the hour mark.
This crowd really starting to get frustrated. Arsenal grown into the game. They've started the second half really well. And now we're seeing that change because Lucy Bronze has come under a lot of pressure on that right-hand side. Struggling with the pace of Caitlin Ford.
Yep, straight swap. We were talking about it in the first half, and it's happening now. Carpenter up against her Aussie colleague, Ford. Carpenter for Bronze. Yep, the roof will look. Taylor Hines is going to replace Katie McCabe. Frustrated in the aftermath of that goal being chalked off and booked. And Beth Mead probably knew that was coming, I think, the way she was looking there.
Yeah, you always kind of get that sense as a player when your time's up. A couple of decent changes there from an Arsenal perspective. I think with Katie McCabe, it's not necessarily that it's going to be somebody running her that, well, it could be with Carpenter, of course, and Ritten Cannerid and the pace they've got, but it's the frustration that's building around Arsenal at the moment, and we know that it doesn't take too much to tip McCabe over the edge in that sense. So maybe from Renee Slegger's point of view, just wants a bit more of a calm head on the field at this point, because they are still within this game. They're within touching distance, but those frustrations, the disallowed goal, another couple of opportunities and decisions going against them, just need to try and find that calm and keep working their way back into it.
Smith scored Arsenal's first goal of this season. What a cracker it was as well against London City. Job done by Cuthbert just to win a throw in a tight squeeze. Could be a long half hour, unless they score again, in which case it could be a comfortable one. '50th game in charge, 41 wins, that'll do.
Not too bad.
Cannerid, good ball, and again that pace of Thompson. She is stolen in front of Emily Fox there, and actually, having got there, that's quite an opportunity.
Yeah, brilliant play from Cannerid here, up against Taylor Hines. Gets across Emily Fox, who probably just about does enough to stop Alyssa Thompson from getting a clean connection, but as you said, once you get there, she'd be expecting to put that into the back of the net for hers and Chelsea's second of the day.
Cards out again for that challenge on Kira Walsh. Ouch. Tell you what, Pelova could have made more of a meal of this.
Oof, yeah.
If that's seen properly, that's a red.
Yeah, again, frustrations just boiling over a bit for Arsenal. Loses control of the ball in the middle, studs up right on the inside of the ankle there of Kira Walsh. She looks straight at the referee. She knows that was a nasty one. She feels that was a nasty one, and I have to say, if VAR was around, this game could look ever so slightly different in many ways.
Bang on. Tell you what, I think she's, well, A, she's done well to get up. I hope she's okay, obviously. That's an ankle breaker. 100% once VAR comes into this league, which hopefully won't be too far away. There's nothing against Arsenal or Pelova, but they should be playing with 10. That is a shocking challenge.
It is a bad challenge, but should they also be playing with 10? But level
well,
in scoreline, it's difficult to say, isn't it? But yeah, it's not a nice one. You don't like to see those sorts of tackles.
Walsh has done her a favour there. Plenty of players I can think of who might have been rolling around a lot more than that. Anyway, here's Mariona Caldente. A bit lucky to get it back. Look at all that blue in her way. It's going to have to be very good, or very quickly moved, to get it in between. Here goes Smith. And there's Blackstenius. Oh, Hannah Hampton seemed to just tease it out there almost deliberately. That could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know, it's looking very bright down there in that penalty area for Chelsea, whether the sun's just obscured her view of the ball coming in. I don't think so. It wasn't high in the air or anything like that, but Liv Smith looks a threat on that right side with her pace already. Arsenal will be pleased to have her back in the action after her injury, but yeah, great driving run past Niamh Charles, does the right thing, cuts it back. I think it just, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there with Hannah Hampton. She did just about enough, but just wasn't someone there for Arsenal to clean up on the rebound.
Smith, much like Thompson in that regard there. We've seen similar driving runs where you're just not going to catch him, and indeed Cannerud has that in that. Mind seeing a race between those three. Russo to Caitlin Ford. Teased in there. Well, two of them went for it. And very calmly, indeed that is what she is there for. Kira Walsh didn't just boot it, found a teammate. Although Natalie Bjorn's got underneath that one. Feels a little bit scrappy here, and that will be a foul. Walsh on Russo. Free kick Arsenal in a dangerous position. The Arsenal bench are demanding a card. Doesn't mean every foul has to be just because you've had players booked, but it is a free kick in a good position.
Yeah, and again, I think the changes have helped Arsenal just get a little bit more control back in the game. Alessia Russo, I haven't seen loads of her this afternoon, but she does do that well. Picks up the ball, can get on the half turn, and encourages her England teammate to bring her down. And this is a really dangerous position. Got the left foot of Taylor Hines over it, as well as the quality of Mariona Caldente. They need to find the right delivery here to try and again get themselves back in the game as they thought they had done not too long ago.
Now the numbers are arriving. Far post runners potential here. Got to be bold enough and make that gamble. Charge in on goal. Caldente drills it. Doesn't beat the head of Erin Cuthbert, and that is hugely disappointing.
Yeah, it's the wrong type of delivery for me. There's a lot of players waiting, as you said, at that far post. I think drilling it is difficult to deal with for a player coming onto the ball anyway. Just whip it into an area and cause some problems. Trying to be too clever.
Ford. Cut out. Here's Vika Kaptein. Pelova has fell over and couldn't make a challenge there. Probably just remembering in time that she'd just been cautioned. Good take, Carpenter. Catley cuts it out. Millie Bryce followed Blackstenius all the way now. Can Arsenal try and exploit something here? No.
It's the right idea with Millie Bright out of position and the pace of Liv Smith, but Hannah Hampton doing what she does well, sweeping up.
Van Domselaar sweeping up. Further changes coming from both coaches shortly. Pelova just doing up a boot. I don't know if she might have picked up an injury in that, but if she is there, inverted commas, insurance in midfield, and she's on a card, and maybe she's injured, maybe her number will be up. Let's see how she's moving. Freedom Arnhem. Sam Kerr and Karakuni cross, all inbound here. Well, she thought she got another big one. We all did. But no, Frida Marnham has got 3 goals this season already, all in the WSL, fresh from a new deal. Yeah, and Pelova does indeed make way. There was a chance Cooney Cross might have started this game in the middle of the park anyway, actually. We have another Aussie there on the field and another one here. Change up top. Kat Macario to be replaced by Sam Kerr, who right at the end of last weekend's outing got her 2nd goal of the season. Mel Burgeon encouraging Kat Macario to get off the field a little quicker.
Some interesting changes there. I'm not sure Blackstenius would have been the player to come off for me, but you know, she had her half a moment. We thought she'd got them back level, but she does look the most likely to get in on goal and put it away for Arsenal. They're going with Frida Marnham, who, in fairness, has announced for a big goal herself, so I don't hate it, but Blackstenius probably wouldn't have been the player I would have chosen to bring off.
No, I'm with you. It does mean Russo can push up. And they've got themselves a free kick here too. Now that's 4 changes made by Renee Sleggers. The questions will remain though about these big ones. Of course they've won arguably the biggest trophy of all under her. Can't seemingly get the better of Chelsea. Not yet anyway. We've got at least, well, 22 minutes to go here. Now that does give the potential attackers a chance to get on it, but a blue head gets on it first. Carpenter. And cut out. Everyone's just out of shape at the moment. Neve Charles in there and Kira Walsh at the back. Carpenter kind of in between them. Disjointed still following that set piece. 5 clean sheets in the 9 played across all competitions this season for Chelsea. Arsenal only kept out once before this by Manchester United, who at last look were still trailing. They are still trailing at home to Aston Villa.
Talk about those swing weekends, don't they, in football? This could be, still could be, could have been one of those either way, and at the moment it looks like it's swinging in Chelsea's favour massively with the results that we're seeing at the moment, but still plenty of time to go for either side to bring themselves back into their respective games. Could all turn on its head in an instant.
It absolutely could. But if it doesn't, 14 to play. It'll be, in terms of matches, and Chelsea already with a healthy lead. Good carry from Kerr. She knew she couldn't touch that. I think she would have been off. Even Canner would have stopped for a handball there.
She's almost embarrassed to carry on, I think. Didn't hear the referee's whistle, but I assume it did go. Yeah, Sam Kerr starting to find her way back to her best after a very, very long layoff with that ACL and further complications after it. Goal last weekend, typical Sam Kerr finish.
Russo popping it through for Marnham, who was popping it through for someone she hoped would be there. They weren't. Hannah Hampton was.
Yeah, Russo starting to come into the game a bit. She won a couple of good fouls for her team, getting on the ball there. Looking for her teammate. There's so many blonde ponytails, it's hard to tell who's who, but yeah, played it forward to Frida Marnham, who just looking for the right idea, but again, maybe just put your foot through it.
Here is Marnham, pushed wide by Neve Charles. 15 to play. Those are your action areas. A bigger chunk in that central third, actually, than you might have thought. 45% in that box. Just need a ricochet to go their way or something. That was Alessia Russo there, who was... Well, you got Kira Walsh in there operating when Russo was playing as a 10, I guess, Helen. So we really haven't seen a lot of her. You normally would see so much more of her. She's such a game-affecting player.
Yeah, 100%. It's never going to be easy when you're up against Kira Walsh, as you say. She's certainly starting to find her way into it now, Alessia Russo. She's a player of real quality, and even when she's getting a few pelters for not scoring as many, she does impact a game in a positive way more often than not. Really come on as a footballer, and her all-round game so important both to Arsenal and England, of course. And you know, looking at Chelsea again, they haven't wowed us, they haven't been fantastic on the ball, but their work rate and determination to defend.
And they're winning, and they're driving forward here with Carpenter. It's a great carry and a good cutback. The back heel from Kerr was looking for Vika Kaptein. Unselfish from the prolific Aussie. She maybe didn't feel she had the angle, too much company right in front of her to pull the trigger herself. What a run, though.
Yeah, you can add Ellie Carpenter into that race of the players we mentioned before. I think she accidentally takes it to the byline in the end, but finds Sam Kerr with a good ball, and it's not a bad decision from Sam Kerr because the angle was against her to get a shot off. But well defended and snuffed out in the end by Arsenal. Just going back to Chelsea, I think what they do so well is recover as a team and make it so difficult for the opposition.
Chloe Kelly coming. Caitlin Ford for a good hour was a real thorn in Chelsea's side. Not able to make it count. Now let's see if the box office Chloe Kelly can. She's a player that makes things happen, that is for sure. They need something to happen here.
Yeah, Chloe Kelly will be frustrated not to be starting games of this magnitude. You know, the move to Arsenal has generally worked out well for her, but she's still not, you know, the first choice in that starting 11 more often than not, but she is a game changer.
That is one hell of a first touch, having just come on the field, to pull that down from 50 yards off. Back to Taylor Hines, all change on the Arsenal left. That's all 5 subs made by Renee Slegers. But still, Chelsea have the lead they took early. And they've got all sorts of England colleagues on the field there. One finding another. 2 of the summer heroes. Kelly to Hampton. There's plenty of England out there with Walsh and Russo, and there's half of Australia as well.
Yeah, it's very much a bunch of players that played against each other just now in the international break a few weeks ago. Yeah, there's some real quality on the pitch still, both sides able to bring on players that can make a positive impact. And both sides will be looking to go on and either get back in the game or kill it off from a Chelsea point of view.
And Taylor Hines there made her England debut in that match. It's the Aussies.
Yeah, it's a big move for her to have made to Arsenal, you know, quite comfortable, quite happy at Liverpool, doing her job, doing very well. To come into a team that's competing right at the top end of the league, and you know you're going to be up against it in terms of team selection. It's a bold move from her, but you know she's had opportunities coming on today in a big moment for the team. It says a lot about what Renee Slegers thinks of her.
Well, that is a collector's item. Erin Cuthbert berating herself and apologising to her teammates. You know, absolutely right. She's one of the first names on the team sheet, often captain Taylor Hines at Liverpool, if I wasn't around, which she often wasn't. And there you come where you know there's McCabe, even Nice was getting some game time. Steph Catley can play there.
And the
started
pressure
out at Arsenal though, so maybe she felt like there was something to prove there. It's another slice cross from Kerr. We're into the final 10.
And the pressure that comes with being an Arsenal player as well. You know, we talk about it so often that it is a different feeling, needing to go out and beat teams week in, week out, and try and be up there competing on all fronts for trophies. It's a different mentality to have for a player, especially, as you said, one that spent so much time in one place. Yes, she's coming back to a club, but probably looks very different to the one that she left all those years ago.
Cooney Cross has come to collect, and that's a heavy touch. Got away with it. Mariona Caldente here. And the time never stops ticking, but it really is running out. Let Smith go here. Needs teammates in the middle. It is over Bjorn. Chloe Kelly for Arsenal. And she is so much better than that.
Do you know, I've been banging on all afternoon about players hitting it quicker. That was the one time I think she could have taken a second to let it settle and have a better shot, but she wasn't under tons of pressure there, Chloe Kelly. I feel she had half a second more to try and get that under control and have a proper go at goal.
Injection of Smith there, that was, for the second time since her introduction. Highly impressive.
Especially when you consider she's been out for a couple of weeks and finding her way back to match fitness. She looks absolutely rapid.
There she is again, closing down. Makes you sick how quickly the young can recover. There's a ball in behind here for Kerr, and it's the right idea. Again, just a little overhit. But it's been pretty frantic, very energetic. In terms of actual quality, there hasn't been as much as I was expecting. I don't know about you, Helen. You know what I mean?
Not in the right areas.
Passes astray, crosses astray.
Yeah, I think it's a symptom of both teams wanting to go and get the win, putting each other under pressure, not allowing anybody to settle. And yeah, just in front of goal, just not that quality other than that one moment, which could well be the winner after all this time in Alyssa Thompson.
Yeah, chock full of quality, that one, but yeah. Top players not quite doing it so far. Mariona Caldente included, that's her cross. Walsh is there. Taylor Hines is there. She's hammered that against Cuthbert. The danger remains here for Arsenal with Kelly. Cooney Cross, so congested in that middle core there. Catley gets her head up. Wasn't much to hit with a cross, so sensible not to do it. Kelly, safely gathered.
Worth a go, but it's going to take something pretty special to beat Hannah Hampton from there, but you can see why. I think it's Kira Walsh just gets out quickly enough to put her off, but yeah, another glimpse of that pace from Olivia Smith. Puts in a good ball as well. Olivia Smith after that run. And then the ball actually never went off the pitch after Chloe Kelly had that strike.
Marnham, smart and quick, and into the path nicely for Smith. Marnham, oh goodness me, it's an air shot. Well, there must have been a scrape of the ankle. That could have gone in. It's a corner, 6 minutes and stoppage time to go. And Natalie Bjorn here, super relieved.
Yeah, it's not the first time there's been a swipe and a miss in this game, particularly in that Chelsea defence. This time Natalie Bjorn getting away with one, but that was a moment of quality. Frida Marnham feeding Smith, picks out her teammate again.
Deep from Kelly. It was accurate enough, but very tough for Alessia Russo to even keep that one alive.
Yeah, just a bit too much height on there, not enough power, that even if she did get her head on the ball, it would have been very difficult to get an effort on goal. Arsenal still probing, still feel that there is one more big moment for them.
Well, Alyssa Thompson has had the main stamp of quality on this game. And Vika Kaptein also coming off here. And a slice of the French capital coming to the English one here. Jean-Francois from Paris FC, and then to PSG, and then to Chelsea, and Sandy Baltimore, of course, also from Paris Saint-Germain, who scored in this game and was brilliant in it, Baltimore, last season. The final match, as it turned out, for Jonas Eidevall, at which point Arsenal were effectively out of the title race by the middle of October. For the competition, you want them, and as many in it, for as long as possible. That is a brilliant touch from Frida Marnham. Smith against Charles. Oh, that's brilliant from Smith. So's the ball in towards Russo. So many back in there. I think Cannerud got the touch on it. A strike through the bodies from Caldente. Taylor Hines. And again. Oh, it's scrappy, but it's a great watch, this. They're both nervous in their own way. Everyone knows this feeling, whatever end of it you've been on. Oh, good ball into Russo! Arsenal needed a last-minute hero. And they've got one. And this one is going to stand. Alessia Russo, lesser spotted in this scrappy game of football, but now up top, and she's got enough on it that Hampton couldn't keep it out. 1-1 at the Emirates, right at the end.
Well, that came at the end of a crazy series of events. Missed-timed clearances, missed-hit shots. Jean-Francois has just come on. She's inexplicably hooked it back towards her own goal. The header wasn't cleared. Oh, that's tight. They maybe have had a favour done by the assistant referee on the far side, but maybe that's justice for the disallowed goal earlier. But it's a fantastic ball nonetheless from Frida Marnham. Hannah Hampton probably will feel she should keep that out. It's a decent enough effort from Alessia Russo, but it's not right in the corner and it's not super powerful. But that's a big, big moment in this game, and can Arsenal go on to turn this around?
How daring dare they be with 2.5 to play? It was a must not lose. Now they aren't losing. Imagine if they won it. The roof had come off this place. What roof there is. She's offside, just. But I tell you what, on the balance of what they got earlier, where that was a margin call, maybe they deserve that margin call to have gone their way. That will be long debated, I'm sure. At 2 minutes of normal time to play, and it's all square. And listen to that.
Crowd certainly getting back behind their team now, aren't they, after that moment? Brilliant. Oh, I thought it was a brilliant tackle from Taylor Hines.
Well, she got the ball. It might well have been. You might still be right there, Helen, but Mel Burgeon calls it as a foul. Maybe she took out Cuthbert in getting the ball, or to get to the ball. But Renée Slegger's not for the first time hopping about the area. No, it's foot, isn't it? Yeah,
I think it is a foul. In fairness, it is the right call. But nonetheless, it stops a Chelsea attack, which is the idea that Taylor Hines would have gone by. A little bit of a fracas on the sideline with Renée Slegers and their assistant. He's not happy about something.
And I think it's him that's got the card, by the way. Renée Slegers was straight out saying, yes, OK, but he was shouting she got the ball, actually. If he sees it back later, he'll see that she didn't. So, very nearly. A scrape of the stud on it, but definitely took out Cuthbert. Here's Cannerud. Oh, Chelsea led for so long. They're only dropped points this season. WSL terms, anyway, the draw with Manchester United, where they led for a bit in that as well. Not as long as they've led here today.
Not used to conceding too many goals either, Chelsea, so interesting to see how they react to that one going in up the other end.
Even the clearances are a bit scuffy. Russo's found energy, God knows where from. Here she goes, the ball's got to be played, and it has for Frida Marnham. Marnham! You cannot believe this, because the flag's up again.
How late was that flag? There was also something on the far side with the Olivia Smith, who looks to be flat out on the floor. I don't know if she was fouled. They're all unhappy on the bench out here.
And they're all coming to look whether they're on the field or off it. I mean, there's a million moments this pass could be played. I think that's the right call. By her boot only. I'm looking at the far side. It's a very cool finish. Wow.
Yeah, I think that is the right call. I think the flag could have gone up earlier, if I'm honest, which may have saved so many emotions, but the finish, as you said, was top. She's made a real impression. I said I wouldn't necessarily have taken Stina Blackstenius off, but the decision is proving very fruitful. Freedom Arnhem's been brilliant, created a goal for Russo, almost had one of her own there. And you've got to give credit to Arsenal and Renée Slegers. They've really gone for it in this game. It hasn't always come off, but they've been in it from the start, and it could quite easily have got away from them going behind so early to Chelsea. I think they've done themselves a lot of justice today. I think they've done themselves proud. You know, and there's still a couple of minutes yet to play. Anything can still happen in this one.
Why wasn't that pass played earlier, though? There were two of them on. There was such a margin for error in it. There's a ton of green grass. Don't risk the offside. Well, it's gone now.
Russo had done so brilliantly in the build-up as well. That burst of pace that came from nowhere to get away from Erin Cuthbert in the middle of the pitch just opened up for her.
No one ever does that to Chelsea, and it so nearly was done to the champions. And Arsenal have a lot to be proud of. You're absolutely right here, but it is a game that, well, they probably had to win. They certainly couldn't afford to lose it, we know that, but realistically there's still a big gap there. Manchester United, by the way, also in injury time and still trailing at home to Villa. And with this scoreline here, had United won that, they'd be top of the table 8 games in. Smith. Super impact from the bench, Liv Smith, and barrelling through here. Fans hoping for a whistle in their favour, but in fairness, the players weren't complaining. It didn't look like a foul. We've still got time for someone to win it. It would be very Sam Kerr and very Chelsea if it was them.
It would indeed. I almost feel like they're... I'm hesitant to say it, because there's still a minute to play, but I'm almost sensing that Chelsea will settle for a point. Arsenal certainly not looking like they will. With Smith wanting a foul, I don't know if there was a little bit of a nudge, but probably not enough to give one at this stage in that position. Not that that should matter, of course.
Jean-Francois getting a touch on it. Brought on to help shore it up. Sunday Baltimore might be on to win it. In towards Kerr, that's well defended. Walsh. Now that won't quite be that if they're sharp on the watches here, because we've had a bit of a stoppage within stoppage time already. Smith. Absolute bull. That was brilliant. Now, up you all go. There won't be time for a counter-attack.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to stick it in the channel now and get them on the hop, but obviously wanted to make sure that Liv Smith's all right. You know, to have a reoccurrence of that injury she's already had. But yeah, absolutely. If I'm Arsenal, I'm going for this.
5th versus 1st. The last action of the game, surely, maybe, to narrow the gap. Van Domselaar, over to you. Launched into the mixer and nodded on by Vauban-Moy. And there ended a frantic game of football. Renée Slegers, well, she hasn't been beaten in the game that she couldn't afford to lose. She'll feel they could and maybe should have won it. Not a game where the undoubted quality of these two were absolutely on show, but it was absolutely full of drama, controversy and entertainment. Her worldie looked for so long like it was going to be the winner. Alyssa Thompson with a wonderful goal, Russo with a late equaliser. Marlon thought she'd won it even later, but at the end, nobody's won it. It's a point each. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 1 at full time. Well, that was lively.
It was. I mean, there were moments of quality, there were glimpses of it across both sides, but the entertainment value was super high in that one. For anybody that was neutral watching that would have had an absolutely wonderful time. And I think, to be honest, the Arsenal fans probably would have enjoyed the spirit and the fight and the way they kept themselves in the game, more so than the Chelsea fans looking at that thinking, is it an opportunity missed after such a fast start? Could we have gone on to punish them further whilst they were in a moment of weakness, I suppose? But for Arsenal, they dug deep. Probably unfortunate not to have that first goal count. On the flip side, fortunate that the equaliser does count. There was high drama right across the afternoon's action, but Arsenal, I think, have done themselves a world of good in terms of that. Probably doesn't keep them in the title race, but in terms of the rest of their season, it shows them what they're capable of at times. They just need that extra little bit of quality and decision making in the final third.
Pretty even on those numbers of shots and shots on target. A lot of blocks, even more in that department, and clearances from Chelsea than from Arsenal. Let's have a look at some of the main moments from a pulsating game in front of a big crowd here at the Emirates. This was within 2 minutes. Great from Macario and close from Cannerid.
Feels like a lifetime ago that we saw that one strike the post, doesn't it?
And then this. Thompson on the drive through a big gap that was really noticeable early on in this game in particular, and then that finish, glorious from Alyssa Thompson, her first WSL goal, and she'll never forget it. That was gorgeous.
Not only was the finish really clever, but just the way she held her run. She played it into Ritten Cannerid, didn't go forward into the box, held her ground. Lotte Wubben-Moy drops off, and it allows her that half a yard of space, and executed it perfectly.
Excellence here, first from Lucy Bronze, then from Kat Macario. Beaten out by Van Domselaar. Off the bar, Kaptein's header, saved by Van Domselaar, and that was the kind of frantic stuff we saw plenty of. That was a really delicate touch into the run of Lucy Bronze here from Kaptein, and then her back heel. And it fell for Kaptein. Wubben-Moy twice in the way. Macario here. And then Charles into Van Domselaar. Madcap stuff.
That was the definition of pinball in the box, wasn't it?
And then this.
Moment of utter controversy. We weren't quite sure what was going on in our seats, but yeah.
Well, this is why it has been chalked off, and why it is still 1-0. That's a heck of a spot.
Handball.
Liv Smith was excellent off the bench. The ball in towards Russo there. Cooney cross. Couldn't get rid of it. Caldente had his shot. Here's Taylor Hines. She didn't get hold of it, but look, everybody in red and white stays up. That's not really cleared by Carpenter. Goodness only knows what that was from Jean-Francois. And then Frida Marnham to Alessia Russo, and 1-1.
I mean, I know Alessia Russo is just offside there, but the cross from Frida Marnham, she looks like she's got nowhere to go there, but spins and digs out a fabulous ball. It is really close, really bright, and Natalie Bjorn not too far off in terms of playing Russo offside.
Speaking of which, Marnham flagged for offside here. It was such a cool finish, but it didn't count. after the break from Russo. The flag was up. This is one of those, I think she's, if you look at it, if you're going by the stripes of the green, Charles has played her offside effectively there, Marnham. This is one of those where both coaches will talk about controversial things, and both will feel, I think, Helen, that it's a missed opportunity in a way. Chelsea because they led for so long but then didn't win it, and Arsenal because they'd have felt maybe Chelsea at times were there for the taking actually today, but they just didn't quite get those fine margins right.
Absolutely. I think on the balance of it, a 1-1 is probably fair. It could have been 3-3, 4-4, but I think a draw at the end of the day is pretty fair. But you're right, both teams will feel it's a missed opportunity. Missed opportunity to play really well and show loads of quality, but a missed opportunity to go out and get the 3 points. And just on that last one there for Frida Marnham, the ball, I think Alessia Russo's last touch was just a little heavy, which didn't allow her to play it in time. I don't think she necessarily had the opportunity to, but had that last touch been a bit closer, she could have stepped on and played it just before Marnham steps offside. But yeah, a really entertaining game. As I said, more so probably from the neutral than the result for either side.
Well, a big factor in this game, and let's hear from her now. Arsenal's equalising goal scorer, Alessia Russo.
Energetic. Alessia, a point here. How do you kind of sum up that game? A typical London derby, I guess.
Yeah, it was. It was a really, really tough, intense game. But yeah, disappointed to not take all 3 points. I mean, I don't think it's a handball, but I know the referees have tough decisions, and yeah, they have a tough job. But it feels frustrating, especially because I've just come off the pitch. I need to see the others back, but yeah, disappointing to not win today. But it was incredible to be out there with all of our fans, and a performance that we'll take into the rest of the season.
Talk me through your equalizer, because that was pretty special, and the noise around the Emirates as well.
Yeah, it was so loud. I mean, even when we didn't score, like if we broke through or we defended well, they were so loud throughout the whole game. So massive thank you to them. They're just the best. It was a great ball in from Frida. I just wanted to get on the end of it. And yeah, luckily I did, but disappointed, like I said, to not take all 3 points. I think we deserved it. I think we played some really nice football. But yeah, that's the game.
They got off to a pretty fast start. What were kind of the messages at half-time, because you came out pretty energetic in the second half?
Yeah, they started really well. I mean, we were playing Chelsea, one of the best teams in the world. So yeah, they started really well. We had to gather momentum a little bit and settle into the game. But at half-time, we just wanted to carry on what we were doing. We thought we ended the half well. And yeah, we wanted to push through and create more and more chances, and I think we did that in the second half.
And finally, what does this show about the character of the team to fight back like that?
Massive. I mean, we saw it a lot last year, especially in our Champions League campaign, that we have so much quality, whether that's starting people coming in, and we'll fight right until the end, especially here at the Emirates with all our fans behind us. Yeah, I think we can never be counted out late in games at the Emirates.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's a well-balanced interview and calm amidst this storm. Credit to Alessia Russo for that. So 1-1 here, and that Miri Taylor goal away at Manchester United has won the match for Aston Villa in a game that we now know, had Manchester United won that, they would be top of the league right now. Tomorrow brings London City Lionesses against Spurs, Liverpool at home to Brighton, West Ham versus Leicester, both at the wrong end of the table, and Everton, who can't win, or rather haven't since the opening day, at home to Manchester City, who could be one of this weekend's big winners in that regard. It's Manchester City now have the chance. Remember, they lost to Chelsea on the opening night, but perfect sense, well, they can now go top and do perhaps what Manchester United weren't able to do. West Ham and Liverpool still without a point at the wrong end of the table, but Arsenal may yet get leapfrogged by Spurs again, missing the chance to close the gap, but they've given us a very good show here one way and another, along with the champions Chelsea. Big crowd here at the Emirates that has enjoyed some cracking entertainment, and a point for both of these London rivals. From Helen Ward and Ben Andrews, it's goodbye.